Hi guys, welcome to another crochet tutorial, a Tunisian crochet tutorial today with me, Laura. And in this video I'm going to be showing you how to do this Tunisian stitch here. And if I zoom in, you can see this little pattern effect, these like little bubbles, just to make your Tunisian crochet a little bit more interesting. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is our little slip knot. And you can use any yarn and any Tunisian hook for this project. And what we want to do is work to units of 3 plus 2. So we'll do our units of 3 first. So let's do our first 3 chains. 1, 2, 3. Then our next 3, 4, 5, 6. And another 3, 7, 8, 9. And another 3, 10, 11, 12, and I'll stop there just for this video. So that's my unit of 3, and then it's plus 2, so do an extra 2 on top of your unit of 3. So 1, 2, so I end up with a total of 14 chains. And the very first row is just normal Tunisian crochet. So what we're going to do is go into our second chain from our hook. So we don't count the loop on our hook. There's our first, there's our second, so we go into our second chain, bring the yarn through, and we just keep it on our Tunisian hook. Then go into the next chain, bring that through, keep it on our hook, and we do that all the way across in all our chains so we get to the end. And you should end up with the same amount of chains, same amount of loops as you have chains to begin with. So I chained 14, so I should end up with 14 loops on my crochet hook. That's if I can even go into my stitches. No. Okay, so when you get to the end, you should have your 14 loops, or however many loops you've done on your same amount as your chains on your crochet hook. And then we do a normal Tunisian reverse rows. So to do that, we yarn over and pull through the first loop only, do our little chain 1 there, and then we always do pull through 2 until we get to the end. So yarn it over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 until you get back to the beginning. Okay, so it's just normal Tunisian crochet so far. Okay, now what we're going to do is our division of 3 is going to be in the middle. So the first, it should end up with these vertical bars or little ladder stitches, you can see there. And the very first one we're going to just leave alone, and we're also going to leave the last one alone as well. We're only going to work the pattern with these units of 3 in the middle, these stitches here, but it'll make more sense as I go along. So we never work into this first vertical bar because the loop on our hook counts as the first stitch made, so that's fine. So we're going to do the first 3 as normal simple stitches to begin with. So we're going to go into that second vertical bar, just go under it from one side to the other and grab the yarn, bring it underneath, do a normal simple stitch. And then we're going to go into the next one, into the next vertical bar, grab the yarn, keep that on your hook, and the next one. So the first 3, not including that very first one there, that's the one we're going to leave alone. So our first unit of 3 are just normal simple stitches. Now what we want to do is we want to add a stitch. Now it's really important how you add this stitch, how you wrap the yarn around your hook. So to add a stitch, you wrap the yarn around your hook, but it's really important that you come from the back and over the top to the front, because that determines how you work into the stitch when you need to go back through it again. So you can't do it that way because the yarn ends up disappearing. You'll see if you try. So if you come from the back, over the top, and then just hold the yarn there. So you just wrap the yarn around your hook from back to front over the top. Then we're going to go into the next stitch under the next vertical bar and do a simple stitch. And then go onto the next vertical bar and do a simple stitch. Then onto the next vertical bar and do a simple stitch. So basically the next 3. And then what we're going to do is we're going to find those 3 and we're going to yarn over. We're going to pull our yarn through those 3 loops, 1, 2 and 3. So so up to our stitch that we added. Okay, so you got the one we leave alone, the first 3 worked, the stitch we added, and then we've just yarned over, pulled through 3 stitches there. So because we pulled through 3, we've technically lost 2 stitches. That's why we added one here, but now we've got a stitch there. We need to add another stitch. So again, come from the back over the top and add another stitch, and that'll get your 3 stitches back. Then the next 3 vertical bars, we do normal simple stitches. So do a simple stitch, and the next vertical bar, do a simple stitch, next vertical bar, simple stitch. Okay, so they're just a nice normal 3 stitches. Now we're going to do the group 3 together, and we need to add a stitch. So again, come from the back over the top, go into the next vertical bar, grab the yarn, onto the next vertical bar, grab the yarn, and onto the next vertical bar, grab a yarn. Now we want to group these together. We're going to yarn over, pull through 3 loops, 1, 2 and 3. Okay, then we need to add a stitch back in because we're down a stitch, so come from the back over the top, and then we should have one last vertical bar on the very end. This is one we were going to leave alone, not have any pattern associated with it. We're going to go into there and do a normal simple stitch. Okay, so you should have your stitch count of 14 still, however many you had, so your unit of 3 plus 2. It's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and then we just do a normal reverse row like normal Tunisian crochets. So we just yarn over, pull through the first loop only to do that little chain 1, and then we yarn over, pull through 2 until we get back to the beginning. I think that's going to adjust the lighting because it's getting a little bit too sunny. So that's the end of our first Tunisian pattern row. Okay, let's move on to the next row once I've adjusted the light. Okay, so moving on to the next row, we're going to do exactly the same thing again. So we're going to leave that first vertical bar alone and go on to the next vertical bar. And the next 3 we do normal simple stitches. So simple stitch, next stitch, simple stitch, and the next one, simple stitch. Then we need to add in a stitch again, so we're going to yarn over from the back, and the next vertical bar is hidden down there. That one's very obvious because that's the one that we grouped together. This is the one we added in. Now, because we yarned over the certain way, that makes that nice and easy to see. So we're going to go onto that vertical bar and do a simple stitch. Then under this obvious one, do a simple stitch. Then under this next one here, which is the one we added. Okay, and we yarn over, pull through 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're down a stitch, so we add one back in. Right, the next 3 vertical bars are normal simple stitches. 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to do our little pattern. We're going to add in a stitch, go onto the vertical bar, which is just hidden down there. You see it there. Do a simple stitch under the obvious one, top of the little pattern, simple stitch, and the next one here. Then we yarn over, pull through 3, 1, 2, 3, add a stitch back in from the back to the front, and under the very last vertical bar on the end. Okay, check your stitch count is the same. Then we yarn over, pull for the first loop only, must always remember to do that, then yarn over, pull through 2 until you get back to the beginning. Oops, too many. There we go. Okay, so you can see the pattern coming together. Now you can just carry on repeating these 2 rows in this way, or you can mix it up, which I like to do. And instead of doing the 3 simple stitches at the front, we're going to do our little group together. So the first thing we need to do though is add in a stitch. Okay, so yarn over, then go into that second vertical bar, do a simple stitch. So the next one, simple stitch, and the next one. Once you've got your 3, we're going to yarn over, pull through 3, and then add a stitch back in. Then the next 3 we're going to do as normal simple stitches. So there's the really nice obvious one, and this is the one we need to work into next. It's just slightly hidden to the right. Let's do a normal simple stitch, next vertical bar, and the next one is here. There we go. It's a nice normal 3. Then we're going to do a group together. We need to add in a stitch first, then go on to the next 3. Then yarn over, pull through all 3, add a stitch back in. Then the last 4 will be normal stitches. So there's the little hidden vertical bar, normal simple stitch, normal simple stitch, and then normal simple stitch, and at the very end that's just a normal simple stitch, as always. Okay, check your stitch count, and then do a normal reverse row. Pull through the first, then pull through 2 till you get to the end. Okay, so there we go. So we've mixed it up, and now we've done our little pattern in the middle. We're going to repeat that again. So we need to add a stitch in straight away, then go on to the second vertical bar, which is just hidden under there. Do a simple stitch. Then the next vertical bar, it's always easy to see because it's above that group of 3. The next one, yarn over, pull through all 3, add a stitch back in. Then the next 3 are normal simple stitches. So 1, 2 and 3. We don't add any stitches because we don't take any away. Then we need to add a stitch back in, go on to the next vertical bar, which is hidden down there. Next one, simple stitch, and the next one. Yarn over, pull through all 3, add a stitch back in, coming from the back. Then the last 4 are normal simple stitches. So the last group of 3 and then the very end one. Okay, check your stitch count, and then do a normal reverse row. Pull through 1, then pull through 2 to the end. Okay, so back to the beginning, and you can really see the pattern coming together, and you've got these beautiful little, I don't really know what to describe them as really, sort of little sort of cables. They look like cables, these sort of little lacy patterns here. So again, you can now alternate. Now you've done two rows, 2 sets in the pattern, you can alternate back to it being above these 2 again. So to do that, we just do the first 3 as normal simple stitches. 1, 2 and 3. Then we add a stitch in because we're going to be taking some away. And so the next 3, 1, 2 and 3. Then we yarn over, pull through all 3, pull through 3, then we add 1 back in. So don't add it in before you pull through 3. Then we do 3 simple stitches, normal ones. 1, 2 and 3. Always make sure that middle one is the most obvious one. Then we add a stitch in, go for the next 3. 1, 2 and 3. Yarn over, pull through 3. 1, 2 and 3. Add a stitch back in, coming from the back over the top, very important, and then into the last vertical bar. Check your stitch count is the same if my camera wants to focus, and do a normal reverse row and pull through 1, then pull through 2 until you get back to the beginning. And that's it, back to the beginning, and there we go. And then we can just do another set in that direction as well. So I'm going to do a few more rows, just alternating between doing 2 here and then 2 there, 2 here and 2 there, and I'll show you what it looks like, and that's it. But that's how you do that cute little Tunisian design, something a little bit different. And there we go, just finished off that second row, and you can see the Tunisian design with these lovely little effects every so often, creating these like almost like little bobbles, like little sort of flower or fan bobbles. Something a little bit different for your Tunisian crochet. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Hope you'll give it a try, see how you get on. And yeah, just remember to work to units of 3 plus 2, and you can scale that up or down to make a scarf or something. And I'll see you soon for some more crochet fun. And don't forget to check out my website happyberry.co.uk for lots more free crochet patterns. And don't forget to subscribe and click that notification button so you'll be the first to hear about all my latest tutorials. And also follow me on Instagram, where I do some extra giveaways, and you can follow my sort of day-to-day things that I like to get up to at HappyBerry Crochet. And also, if you'd like to learn a little bit of knitting, I also have a knitting channel, so check out HappyBerry Knitting. And I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.